Hey guys, I'm Ethan. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Ethan had something to share at the beginning, but I walked in on him doing mic tests, and he was using Shippuden, like a vocal warm up, and I couldn't help but like imagine using
I'm
names.
checking plosives. Leave me alone.
I know. Just thinking Nagato, Kakashi,
Serate. Yeah. So, guys, I wanted to do a quick little recommendation. It's
Ooh.
anime adjacent,
Ooh, we're branching out.
right? So, I absolutely loved the book Ready Player One.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think it is easily top 5 that I've ever read, and I've read a absolute crap load of books.
That is true. If you watch any of our videos, you would see the massive bookcase in his apartment, and the grand majority, I'd say, you have read over here. And amongst these, you think that's top 5?
Absolutely, it's top 5.
Ooh.
So let me give you just a quick little rundown. There was a movie pretty recently where they did sort of adjacent to the story, but it's this kid who grows up in like a post-apocalyptic energy crisis kind of world, and at this point they've gotten so advanced in their VR that basically businesses run through VR, schools, like all this stuff, right? And basically your social stature is based on how good you are in this like virtual world, the Oasis.
Imagine like how many points your gamer tag has, your trophy has, and that's like your upper middle class.
Well, actually, in the book, they basically say the Oasis currency is stronger than both the USD, yen, all this stuff. So that was pretty cool. But what's awesome about it is it has so much like nerdy kind of, not trivia, I wouldn't say, but it just really hits all the nostalgia bones. I was born in the 90s, so it's a lot of 80s and 70s and 80s kind of trivia.
We were exposed
not trivia, but pop culture.
Homages. Yeah,
right.
We were exposed to a little bit of that.
Right. So in the late 90s or whatever, you get to see all those movies from the 80s, and even for me, I was getting so much nostalgia. But also, what's really cool is there's large swaths of the show that are related to like Japanese culture and Japanese anime.
That's so cool.
Just because the 80s, I guess, was really kind of the beginning, the diaspora of Japanese culture. You had Gundam.
Gundam
Dragon Ball Z even started way back then.
Yeah, and I remember reading the book, and they just had just like threw like hordes of nerd culture stuff in you, and Gundam, they like slipped in there. Not going to say how, but it was super cool to see that. I would freak out at something, and I remember when the movie came out, and my buddy was like, "Dude, that mech was so cool." I'm like, "Yeah, that's Gundam, dude." And he's like, "What's Gundam?" I'm like, "Oh, you have a podcast to listen to, my friend."
Here we go. Yeah. So it's kind of anime adjacent, but I just really love that book. I've probably read it 3 times now.
Wow.
I literally even went out and bought the audiobook of it.
That's cool.
Will Wheaton it does the narration.
Really?
Yeah. So it's like nerd on nerd action.
Perfect.
It was really good.
Perfect.
So yeah, that was just a random recommendation I wanted to give out.
Go out, read it, put it in your brain. Now, what we're going to do today is something that actually is probably the first episode that really speaks to our namesake, Weebology.
Right.
I wouldn't call myself a professor of anime, despite the obviously knowledgeable aura we give off just in the way we present information. But we're more of professors in the way like at a college, like a community college, We're the 2-year. We do have a class with students, and you can't see my air quotes right now, but we have a lot to learn as well, and we're learning along with you. We want to teach y'all, kind of about the culture and the ins and outs. So what we thought would be cool today was to fire off some anime terms at each other. We have a bunch of definitions here on both of our sides right now, and we're gonna fire off words back and forth with probably questionable pronunciations.
Right.
Yeah. And we're going to try our best to define it the way we know, and then we're going to see how close we got in terms of what these particular sites and sources say is the real definition. We'll chat about it because some of them are new to me, some of them might be new to you, some of them we did get wrong in the past, and I'm going to bring that up and own it because I am a professor, and I admit when I'm academically wrong.
Right. Yeah, so, we're just going to go kind of back and forth, and, even if our list might have it on there, we're not going to dig through it to try to get a kind of a definition. We're going to give our best guess or, what we've always thought it was. For instance...
Hit me.
Ricky, what is a shonen?
Okay. Oh, wow. Yeah, so I remember in a past episode, I had brought up that I thought, shonen is called a shonen because it appeared in Shonen Jump.
I'm not gonna lie, I thought the same thing.
Cool. So, yeah, so I stuck to that definition, but tell the good fans what it actually means.
Yeah, so a shonen is actually related to the audience that they're going after. It means basically for young boys.
Yeah.
And there's like a specific age range that kind of falls into. But I think it kind of, some of our conversations in the past, specifically around, is this a shonen to you? Kind of don't make a whole lot of sense.
Absolutely not. And look, we're learning here. And it's great. And what kind of made me burn up a little bit is when I found the real definition of shonen. I looked at that article like right on my computer screen. 8 to 18.
Yeah.
How dare you?
Right.
First of all, how dare you? I'll watch Dragon Ball to the day I die.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So that struck me as, something that's a commonplace in terms of terminology, is that they'll put a genre surrounding a certain age group, and that's the name of it. Are there others that have this kind of same?
There are, yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
Hit me with some.
All right. What is seinen?
Oh. Maybe like old men? I guess mature shows? I don't know.
That's right. It's for adult men.
Oh, is it really?
So what I always thought it was is for like psychological thrillers. I don't know why, but like Psychopaths and some of those other kind of, like, I think even Death Note might be considered like on the borderline between shonen and seinen.
Seinen, because
so I always thought it had to do with just being like a psychological thriller.
Wow.
I'm obviously now I understand that Japanese kind of genres are not related to the type of show,
not
but
necessarily.
It's the audience they're going after. So that's something that I learned very recently. So hopefully y'all are getting the knowledge too.
Oh my god! Yeah, hand me my PhD now, please.
You got one for me, Rick?
Let's see. So I'm gonna softball you an easier one.
Oh no, I'm gonna get it wrong instantly.
No. Tsundere.
Okay, so this is really cool. So we actually talked about this in a Lost episode, so bringing it back now will really be helpful. Mm-hmm. So Tsundere is a character that appears cold and kind of shut off when you first meet them, but behind closed doors, or some amalgamation of that, they like are super into the main character, or they're like super expressive, but only behind closed doors. They can't do it in front of anyone else.
Right. Yes. And that's basically nailed it. And a lot of people use it for girl characters, for female characters a lot. It can be guys. Guys can be tsundere as well.
Yeah, because we talked about Piccolo in one of the more
Piccolo
recent
is so
episodes.
tsundere. He'll never admit how much he actually cares about Gohan till way later. But the site I found this definition on, I'm gonna read it for you, and I really don't like the way that this comes off. Tsundere. A character who starts off cold and indifferent until you get to know them, then find their warm and gooey center.
Yum.
Yum. Oh, yeah, I'm just trying to find Ren's gooey center.
Ew.
Yeah, it didn't sound right.
Yeah, oh my.
Yeah, oh my. So serving that one up to you, I got another one. Yandere.
So yandere, I think, is the exact opposite, where they appear like they're just all over.
This kid.
They're all over the main character. Well, actually, they don't also hate them, do they? I don't know. Tell me the definition.
Okay. So yandere is the complete opposite side of the coin, is where they seem really like kind of soft and kind, and it's all about the person they're obsessed with. It's just like a psychopathic level of obsession, and yandere is constantly like doing crazy acts. Like there's a lot of anime where yandere girls will like literally kill the people around the main character because no one can have him.
If I can have him, nobody can.
Except that quote is yandere as hell. That is what that is. So yandere seems, their soft and gooey side is on the outside, but they're really like basically a ball of edge on the inside. And they're, I don't want to say crazy, but they're crazy.
Devoted.
Devotedly crazy. Like the kind of people that would hang up pictures of the person all over their walls, floor, and ceiling, and that's what I see when I go to bed at night. Is your face. That kind of shit. So terrifying yanderes, you see one in real life, you run.
Yeah, so here on my sheets, the definition has this line: their complete devotion to one another or to another character becomes mentally deranged, devastating, and destructive. It's like a Pokédex reading.
Literally, yeah. Just say Pokédex reading.
Yeah.
Yandere, a crazy Pokemon.
All right.
This Pokemon will murder your whole family because you spend too much time with them.
Yeah. They take away time from her. All right, Rick, Chibi. What does it actually mean?
Chibi is... I'm under the impression that it's a reimagining of a character in a much more cute form factor, like tiny body, big head, big eyes, like made to look super cute and tiny. But is it... I guess, is that close? I mean, is it a reimagining of a character, or is it just a character that has those qualities?
It's not really a reimagining. It's just kind of shrinking them down, but also exaggerating random things. So I'll just read off what I have here. A Japanese word coined from Chichan Abito or Chichana no Hito. It means short or small person. When something is chibi, it is usually small and cute and can often refer to fan art where anime characters are drawn in a bobblehead fashion.
Huh. I guess I'm not chibi. I'm just short and not that cute. In a bobblehead fashion.
Right.
Okay. I can dig
Which
that.
I guess makes sense if you see any kind of like chibi character, they have these massive
You'll
heads.
know it when you see it.
Right.
That's the kind of thing you definitely see when you look at it and be like, oh, that's just what that is. It's chibi. Okay. So I had one that is a little more abstract, and I wanted to bring it up, called Moe.
Oh, geez. So I've actually heard this.
Yeah, right?
But off the top of my head, I have no clue, man.
Oh, man. Really showing our weaknesses. We do this on the podcast because we're
humans too.
We're humans too, and we want to learn. We want to learn with you all. So it's a slang term. It's so broad that you really can't really cover it, but it's kind of targeting a certain design of a character, and that's their entire thing. Like, think Goku. If you want to call like a moe aspect of Goku is like his hair, like it's like that's like you see it, that's him, that's his thing. So like it is a character design type that so strongly appeals to something the viewer wants to see. So Dragon Ball Z characters freaking muscular because they are fighters, and a lot of times it's got a cousin concept which I'll bring up. And it's often used in the concept of cute. A character is considered moe. It's got moe. There's moe in a show if just surrounded by cuteness. And that is known as kawaii. Kawaii. Kawaii is literally cute. That's
and you'll hear that a lot throughout shows.
Yes, very kawaii. Someone's
like, Sugoi.
Yeah.
Awesome.
They're awesome. Yeah. So, yeah. It's moe if you want to go out and talk to your friends about it, which, Godspeed. But if you want to talk about it, moe is like the all-encompassing idea of one idea or character trait being targeted at someone or some audience to kind of trigger a feeling. So cuteness, edge, the whole character design is based around that one thing to elicit that response in you. So
like basically Ichigo always acting like an asshole to be the cool guy.
Is that...
Or Jojo?
Yeah, Jojo. Yeah. No, yeah. Jotaro is a really good example because he's literally always calm, always cool, always collected. That is like a moe aspect of him. That is a targeted response that, oh my god, Jotaro's so cool. He's so collected. Oh my gosh.
So this next term, I actually didn't know for the longest time, and I kept being like, what the heck is this? What is an OVA?
An OVA? I always understood it as like a standalone mega episode of like a show, because any OVA is like kind of just this just off to the side thing. It's like, oh, they just came out with a new OVA. It's like 20 minutes long, and it's like it has nothing to do with the actual story. So
what I have here is an OVA is original video animation. It can also be written OAV, which is obviously original animation video.
What is it?
It means like straight to video, and is used when the animation is released directly to the market. So basically, it's like you said, kind of a standalone story within the major story, major anime arcs.
Okay,
and it's just like basically a movie.
Okay,
is how I understand it.
Why don't you just make a movie, guys? Just make the movie.
Yeah, I don't understand why you got to go with OVA, OAV, whatever. But I have in the past been extremely confused by that.
By what an OVA is.
Right.
Okay, we're learning stuff. I'm excited about that. All right. What about a loli or a lolita?
So, he just said as like a Lolita, that in literature is basically a young female character that is kind of viewed kind of as more of a relationship type thing. Like it's a young looking individual that likes an older person is what is Lolita.
Yeah. And
that kind of like flows into like the lolly character is it could be someone who's 600 years old, but they're in this like little tiny girl body and they act all cute and all this crap, right?
Yeah. So lollies, like it's been used broadly as that is any character with the aesthetic of a little girl. That's really the whole shtick. But a Lolita, in the research I found, it's a specific, like a fashion trend. Like little girls wearing 19th century Victorian outfits, like bushy dresses, long stocking kind of things, a lot of bonnet bullshit. Like they look like you had picked them out of like a Jane Austen novel and threw them in Japan. And that's kind of what that looks like in a show. So a Lolita is more defined than a lolly, but a lolly is just any 3,000-year-old fox demon that looks like a 10-year-old.
All right, Rick.
What's
ecchi?
Oh no, you make me do it. Ecchi is basically softcore porn for.
Wow.
It's better. It's what it is. It's basically sexualizing. It's basically sexualizing characters without actually showing anything of a more risque nature.
Yeah, my definition here says Japanese slang for playfully sexual. In anime, dirty humor is ecchi. Panty shots, nosebleeds, and perverted character situations are all classic qualities of ecchi. And so almost every single show will have some aspect of this within it. I honestly, off the top of my head, cannot name a single one that does not have something like this.
Oh, yeah. There's whole shows centered around High School of the Dead.
Right. I mean, it's like a fan service.
Yeah.
Which, could be its own term, but they're very, very interconnected.
Yeah, and if anyone ever tells you that I watch it for the plot...
Yeah, don't believe them.
You know what they're watching for. They're watching for some animated softcore action. Let's see what else we got here. Let's see. Okay, this one's a little near and dear to our hearts. Weeaboo. Weeaboo.
Okay. I think in a lot of ways it's very similar to otaku in that you're just like fully obsessed with the whole like Japanese culture and like anime related space.
So I thought the same thing. Apparently, otaku and weeaboo could not be more different. Yeah. So, what do you have as a definition for weeaboo specifically?
So, my definition that I've got here says, referring to someone who's completely obsessed with Japan and Japanese alike. Unlike otaku, this is usually a derogatory term used for someone who just overall wants to be Japanese, even though they are not.
Derogatory?
Yeah.
I take a derogatory offense to that derogatory statement about it being derogatory. I don't like it. I wear it with a little bit of honor. But
you got a badge of freaking honor.
I got a badge of freaking honor. I guess, am I obsessed with Japanese culture? No. Does most of the media I consume surround itself in Japanese culture? That's not important, but it's true. But yeah, so but that's the difference there from otaku is basically you're obsessed about a media, like some kind of like hobby media it's weird, it's very broad, but it's usually used, and otaku is usually used as someone who is obsessed with some kind of nerdy concept or culture or IP, and you're obsessed to the point where you're socially inept is what I was in my multiple definitions all seem to really focus around the concept of social ineptitude. Like you can't go out and do anything without.
What's so weird is I think that's literally what an otaku is, or like a hikikimori.
Yeah, where basically you shut yourself off from the entire world.
Right, and that's all you're gonna do.
Yep.
Which that is featured within Ready Player One.
Oh,
There's
yeah,
some
yeah.
hikikimori, so...
Do I need to eat this month, or do I need that extra figurine?
All I'm saying is it is anime adjacent. You should totally check it out.
You're just so stoked on this Ready Player One. I like it. All right, what you got for me?
I think what I'm looking for some of the other genre types.
Mm-hmm.
I know shoujo
What's shoujo? I actually have no.
I believe it is the counterpart to shonen, which is just young girl. So basically, it appeals to young girls.
I don't date anybody who doesn't watch Dragon Ball Z.
8 to 18, I think, is the.
Oh, that's so unfortunate that that's how they like label it. You know, I kind of wanted it to just stay Shonen Jump, like it was from a place, and not that you watch a shonen.
Right.
What are you, 18? Like, no, I'm 26.
I'm actually way older.
Than that. But how rad was that Boruto episode last week?
Wasn't it sick?
It was so sick. That fight scene, totally meant for 10-year-olds. Word.
Totally.
Gotta get back to my job though. 401k is business.
Yeah. Time is money, after all.
Time is money.
You got any more, Rick?
Let's see. There's some interesting ones I had over on the and a couple sites had some ones I had never come across. One is called a scanlation.
I think a scanlation is they scanned in a translation to the video.
Wow, yeah, you nailed it so hard. No.
Yep.
So hard. Where is your PhD? I thought you'd have it on the wall by now.
Nah, just, normal bachelors up there.
Normal bachelors of weebology. No, so like a scanlation is essentially the manga equivalent to fan subs. So fans will come,
cool.
fans will sub for like a manga, and then they'll release that, or like a scanlation is like a company translating something to English or another language. So instead of like subbing, it's a scanlation.
Oh, cool.
Learning.
Yeah, so I think that was a pretty cool little segment. I learned some stuff. Did you, Rick?
I learned that I'm an idiot a couple of times of Shonen Jump my ass. So wait, does that just mean it's Boy Jump? Is that what that is? Because Shonen just means boy, right?
I think it just means directed at boys, not necessarily boys.
Directed at Boy Jump is what it translates to.
I think that's basically a direct translation, word for word.
All right, well, check out the next issue, directed at 8 to 18 boys jump.
And then I wanted to kind of add in a little anime watch at the end here.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you guys have heard, but semi-recently, Kishimoto has released a new manga.
Wait, you told me about this off mic.
I don't know if I did.
What is it? Wait,
It's called Samurai 8.
Yes, we did talk about this. We totally talked about this.
Potentially.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to be really cool. It's, picture the ninja world except samurai world. And it's all, I think it's supposed to follow more, part 1 Naruto, part 2 Naruto than it is Boruto.
Good.
Like Kishimoto actually cares about this one.
Oh, good. Yeah.
So that's pretty nice.
That sounds dope, man.
So yeah, I think there's only been 2 or 3 chapters out so far, but Anime Watch. We'll see when that comes up, and we'll definitely let you guys know.
I'll put anything Kishimoto in my brain. I'll absorb it. I might read it.
So as we're recording this episode, Ricky, we're on season 2, episode 7 of One Punch Man. Can I just say, everyone was freaking out before this show came out this season. And I think it was pretty unjust because I'm having a blast watching this stuff, man.
I think it's as you said, the story's carrying it, definitely. I think it was. I still have mixed feelings about it. I do. I think the story is tops. It's way better than season 1. Because season 1 really didn't have a story.
Right.
Yeah. But so it's great. It has an overarching motives for everybody. But I've said it before and I'll say it again that the animators working on this one are so true to the panels in the manga almost to a fault that it kind of forgoes a lot of the action we saw in season 1. But you know what? I did temper my reluctance and I am enjoying it. It is definitely super fun to watch. I will say that. So can only go up from here.
Yeah, I think what's really cool, we're getting so much depth to the world. We're seeing so many characters, so many A class, B class, C class, and we're realizing their complete nothingness to the Monster Association. So that's pretty cool. But I think one thing we are missing out is we're missing there's a scene in the most recent episode where Saitama he's talking to Suryu, who he's fighting in the finale, and he says,
my favorite characters.
If you want to experience fun, don't get any stronger than you are right now.
Such an awesome line.
Right, which is so poignant to Saitama as a character. At this point, all he wants to do is like feel something again, because I mean, Suryo just goes so in on him, and he doesn't even take a single ounce of damage. So I think Saitama is just really relishing, or wants him to relish his time at his level and not progress. But I mean, I think that's something that we're missing, is some of those in-depth kind of character development type things that we got in season 1.
Right.
You know, Genos had a lot of those. Saitama had a bunch. Even Sonic.
Yeah.
You know,
Speed of Sound Sonic.
Right. So all those guys had a lot of like character development that I don't know. I don't know about you, but I feel like the show is kind of just like flying through the panels at this point.
Oh, it really is. I think like a couple episodes had like 4 chapters in it. I was like,
Right.
whoa, that's insane. What is on screen is true to the manga panels, but they are taking out a lot of conversation that the characters would have with each other, which kind of made me bummed out that the Suryu and Saitama fight they should have milked that, man. That was such an awesome like panel for panel. I was like, whoa, this looks so cool. I can't wait to animate it. And they just like 13 minutes done. That whole fight's done. I'm like, that.
Yeah, but to be fair, it was a really cool fight.
Of course it was cool.
Like, it looked super dope.
was
Suryo was doing, like, all this crazy crap, and it just was not affecting Saitama. He was holding his stupid wig on his head the whole time.
The whole time. He just wanted it to stay on, and that was his
pissed
whole
off
mission.
for 1 second and goes serious mode and punches him from 6 feet away from him and blows all his clothes off of him.
Oop, almost did it again.
Right.
Almost shut this guy down. Oh, but yeah, like I said, I'm going to keep watching it. I'm having a really good time with it.
Yeah, so I think we're both having a blast. So next section we're going to do is, this one is over-under rated.
We decided we wanted to take a stance on certain characters of shows we really like and have a lot of lore information and knowledge about. And this time we're going to be doing Jiraiya from Naruto.
Yes, Jiraiya, the legendary Sainin.
Such an interesting character to do this on because he can go either way. So I have taken the underrated side, considering him to be very underrated.
And I'm doing the overrated side. And the way we're going to do this, we're going to have a really, civil debate. We're going to have one side go first, say their entire, subset of points. The other person will be, keeping notes or whatever to respond later. Then the next person... I'm keeping those on paper so I don't forget. Then we're going to have the next person go do their entire point. And then at the end, we have the all-out battle, argument, whatever you want to say.
Yeah, I might, like I said in the last episode, I might drop kick this kid. Just take the mic and just right down his throat. So,
and then at the very, very end, we're going to tell you what our real feelings are about the character.
Okay.
So do you want to go first or me? I'm overrated. You're underrated.
You should go first.
All right, guys. So I think he is overrated for this reason.
Man.
So what I kind of noticed throughout the research is basically Jiraiya got the title, and so did Tsunade and Orochimaru, of Legendary Sainin, only because they were the only ones to survive the conflict with Hanzo, the salamander. To me, getting a title because you survived is a little whack, because Hanzo went on to kill a bunch more people. So that was a little interesting. Jiraiya also, he teaches, basically after that conflict, he goes and finds Nagato, Yahiko, and Konan, his 3 little rain ninja orphan babies, and he decides to be their teacher. So he trains them to become weapons of mass destruction, and then leaves them at their most vulnerable, and they go and create a gang, which I thought was, very great, very good job being a teacher there. And the gang they create is the Akatsuki, if you guys maybe ever heard of it. Then he is unable to stop Orochimaru from leaving the village after he was caught for performing human experiments on other fellow shinobi in the Hidden Leaf.
Just a couple experiments, man.
Just
a little pokes and prods, just to see what moves.
Then Jiraiya passes twice on becoming basically the responsibilities of becoming Hokage. First, Hiruzen specifically chooses him to be the next Hokage, and he just I don't want all the responsibility. I'd rather just go write pervy mags. So he completely balks on that, and Minato becomes the Hokage. And then he also does it again after Minato dies. Hiruzen and everyone comes to him again and says, hey, you should be the 5th Hokage now that, Minato's dead. And he balks once again. The dude just has no concept of responsibility. And so he also... Now, this was really surprising to me, but I was looking back through some of the fights that he kind of took throughout the series, and for the life of me, I could not find a single one that he won. I tried. I really did. I thought of situations I thought he might have won, and you know what? I don't think he's won a single fight.
He never got a W?
Not a single dub. Oh. So that was pretty... That one's pretty egregious and really hard to get over. One of the fights that he lost led to the 3rd Hokage's death. So he loses to Orochimaru. He's poisoned and there's all these extenuating circumstances, but he does lose. And then Orochimaru proceeds to kill the 3rd Hokage. So that's pretty dope. Very good job, Jiraiya.
Dope is a word.
So he can't master Sage Mode. So every one of his students basically does. Minato does it with almost no practice, perfect Sage. Naruto does it, perfect Sage. Even, Konohamaru does it later. But Jiraiya, the Legendary Sainin, can't do it. He has to literally attach 2 old, elder frogs to his shoulders to even basically do half of the, Sage techniques. So I thought that was very interesting. This, scion of ability and this super, masterful ninja can't do it, but all his students can. Obviously Minato and all them are really high-class ninjas, but he's supposed to be as well. Then, for some completely unknown reason, he decides not to use a reverse summoning jutsu when he gets his ass beat by Pain. There's this ability that the summons have where they can actually pull that human that they have a contract with to their world or their cave. For instance, Ryuchi Cave for the snakes, or Mount Miyabuku for the big toads. So, in my opinion, you're about to lose to Pain, right? He has Gramps there because he writes that stupid message on his back, the cryptic AF message. Could you not have just reverse summoned back to Miyabuku and then, I don't know, however they travel back to Konoha, and just said, hey, these guys are coming in and here's their exact skills, here's all this stuff. It's actually just one person controlling them, right? I don't know. To me, it was just really whack because it's just such a foresight, in my opinion, for a master ninja to just not take advantage of something that OP. So there's that. And then his students seem to die in insane situations. Most of them died way before he did. So Yahiko is killed because Jiraiya bails on them. Nagato becomes a terrorist and then is subsequently killed for being a terrorist. And then Minato gets waxed by Obito and Kurama and then sort of unnecessarily dies. So to me, most of those deaths were preventable and unnecessary. And then, I didn't want to believe that he's overrated, but as I was going through all the facts, I realized, what did he do other than prove as this kind of inspiration for gaining strength? He created a bunch of terrorists, he let some kids die, and he shirked his responsibilities. Now, please, tell me why he's underrated.
Bravo. What a masterfully crafted piece of bullshit. Okay. So the reasons I consider
Jiraiya, just getting my notes out because I know there's going to be a lot.
Yeah. Considering Jiraiya to be very underrated was, first you got to look at what he's known for, and it's being one of the Legendary Sainin. And as far as I can tell, he is the only one of the 3 to even have an inkling of Sage Mode. The only one who's ever gotten Sage Mode from the snake is Mizuki from Boruto and Kabuto from the War Arc. And the only reason why he could do that and even find the cave was getting Orochimaru's cells. So Jiraiya learned how to even harness Sage Mode at all because, one, he made it in good with the Toads. That is not easy to do. Now, if you remember training with Sage Mode with Naruto, there were fields and fields of these stone Toad statues, and they were all the failed ninja that tried to do this, to perform this Sage Mode training. So, of all of those, we only have 3 people who have ever done it. And the very fact that he is one of those 3 puts him in this upper echelon of, you know, being able to master a whole other genre of chakra. So, on the point of chakra and his ninjutsu, people sleep on how rare the kind of things he can pull off is. His hair techniques. When else in the entire series have you seen anyone do anything with hair, or even a body part that wasn't a Keki Genkai or Kaguya? Because that is yang release for days. I looked at the 4th data book, and Jiraiya knows fire, wind, water, earth, yin, and yang release techniques. That is insane. That is insane for any ninja. I'm pretty sure Hiruzen only knew the 5 basic elementals, and then maybe he didn't have an understanding to do body manipulation. The only other people who could do body manipulation from the Leaf Village was the Akamichi clan, the Choji's clan that does body expansion. And that is confirmed to be a yang release technique. So, he has those techniques that are employing something outside of the bounds of the 5 basic ninjutsu types and the chakra natures. But also, he has access to probably what I think the Toads being the most versatile summon of all 3. While I would say the snake has been considered the most powerful, he has so many more summons. His chakra by the Toads was said to be a massive reservoir, like on par with base Naruto, with 1/2 of the Kurama. And people always kind of quote that, oh, Jiraiya almost got bodied by the four tails Naruto, while Orochimaru had no problem. Yeah, but you remember his win conditions were way crazier because he had to keep Naruto intact, had to reseal the Nine Tails while suppressing and fending off a crazed Naruto in a 4-tail state. Orochimaru did not have that kind of win condition. So people are like, oh, he didn't have arms and he didn't have anything like that. You know, Jiraiya was so good at sealing jutsu, he could look at the sealing jutsu and immediately decipher what it is, who made it, and how it was tampered with by Orochimaru. So he's a lot more versatile than people give him credit for. His knowledge and just experience of the world may not give him the raw library knowledge of Orochimaru because of his crazy human experiments, and he's a good enough guy not to pull shit off like that. But he is very in terms of knowledge gathering, he is essentially a master. He has repeatedly said he has a spy network that spans all 5 shinobi nations. And the only reason why he knew to go to the Hidden Rain to see that the leader of the Akatsuki was hiding out there was because he had quality intel from his network. So this man had basically throughout his life managed to create a spy network that covered essentially the entire continent. So he, at any point on any group, on any person, he can get enough intel to know where you are and what you're doing. And the reason why he couldn't get Pain's intel was because it's Pain. He's literally got god tier eye level things going on. He does. He very much does. He basically, as a sensei, he raised the world's strongest shinobi, period. Not just in power, and gave him the foundations for everything. He taught him the Rasengan, by the way, which is a derivative of the tailed beast bomb, and Naruto still couldn't do it with one hand until way later. He had enough chakra control to just do it casually. So he gave Naruto, as a sensei, he gave Naruto all of the pieces he needed to become one of, if not the strongest shinobi, and then later the definite strongest shinobi to be walking around. So I would say, as a sensei, people always do bring up the Nagato thing where he basically grew up, but he was a product of a war-torn country from birth all the way until the moment he was like, oh, flipping the switch, they're all dead now. So to that point, Jiraiya did his best. He really did everything in his power to put a a good moral compass into those 3 kids. And for the longest time before they joined and started the Akatsuki, they were really, their whole motive was they wanted to make a more peaceful world, and that was Jiraiya's entire bag as well. So you could argue that without Jiraiya, they have descended away from a higher moral path, because when Jiraiya was there, he was instilling in them, happiness, positivity, the world can be peaceful. I think as a sensei, he's the best in the series by and large. So I don't know. I think as a character as well, he's underrated, because basically when I would say Naruto became a real, like a man, when he kind of experienced Jiraiya's death, and as a foil to bring him into like a proper manhood mindset, like an adult mindset, his death was instrumental in that. So as a written character in the meta, so to speak, he was just a perfect sensei and a perfect end to give the main character this extra push to be greater than he ever was. So as a character, as a sensei, as a ninja, I think he's extremely underrated, and he got that title of Legendary Sainin not by accident. He was feared by Kisame. He was feared by Itachi. When they saw him to go pick up Naruto, they didn't do so because Jiraiya's there. We can't touch this dude right now. He's just too powerful for us. So, people sleep on him. He gets credit, but people sleep on him a little more than I think they should.
Are you done?
I'm going to rain down upon you.
I'm just sorry. Are you
done?
done?
Fire of opinions.
Are you done?
I'm done.
Okay.
What you got?
I took quite a few notes here. I'll just kind of start at the top. You talked about Sage Mode, kind of how he was the only one to really do it.
Of the Legendary Sainin, yeah.
Orochimaru literally was chilling in the Ryuchi cave, chilling with Manda.
Right.
Where did Manda come from?
No, I'm saying he got there, but you've seen...
He probably had Sage Mode. Are you kidding me?
He never did any of the things Kabuto did. At all.
Well, that was my second point, is Kabuto learned it, so is it that hard?
So you're saying Sage Mode isn't hard to learn?
Guess not.
So then it doesn't matter.
Sorry, Kabuto?
So saying...
We're on the same page that this is Kabuto.
He gained Orochimaru's cells.
B tier Kabuto.
B tier? You're going to go into the tier list right now?
Yeah.
Next episode, tier list. We're doing it. No, we're not. But no, I'm just saying, you can't have it both ways. Like, if it's not hard, then saying, oh, Naruto becoming a perfect sage, no, that's not a feat. Becoming a sage is a feat. That's what I'm saying. It's a feat.
If it's not a feat, he didn't even get there.
So here's what I'm saying, though, is that he makes up for literally the main weakness of Sage Mode with his summons. You kept saying, oh, Mom and Paul had to be there. No, they didn't, but he was way longer than 5 minutes, which is Naruto's limit, by himself with just the nature energy he can collect. With Ma and Pa on him, he could 100% be in Sage Mode forever. They're constantly doing the work he would have to be doing, so his summons make him
It's still
awesome.
an imperfect Sage Mode.
Oh my god.
Whatever. Continuing on. The hair technique.
Yeah, hit me with that.
I mean, does it do anything the entire series?
I'm not... Okay, look, who is he fighting?
I'm just saying, who gives a shit?
I mean, that's a big deal.
Anyway, we're moving on.
No, that's a big deal.
Hiruzen did have yin yang. I've looked it up too.
He had yin yang?
Yeah.
Okay.
Which, I'm not saying that's a thing saying he's underrated, because that's just cool as hell. Yeah, I love anyone that's got yin yang. They're all dope.
That's cool.
You said Orochimaru didn't have the same win condition, but you kind of also contradicted yourself saying that he has no arms, and you said Orochimaru didn't have to keep Naruto alive. But he did, or else if he kills Naruto there, Kurama comes out and waxes him. Because if you kill a Jinchuriki, it like releases the tailed beast.
Right, but he didn't have to reseal him or anything. He just had to dip. Like,
he would have gotten killed instantly. Kurama was just like pure rage at that point.
Right. Well, but here's the thing, that all of these points are, what does he do? What does he do? What does he do? That is what makes him seem overrated, because he's surrounded by literal gods, like of the shinobi world, like Naruto, like, oh, he did everything. That's the point. Naruto is supposed to be the chosen one.
Well, Rick, I'm kind of forced to watch a show and just kind of watch what they give me, you know?
But that's what I'm saying.
If the only setting we see is him amongst gods, that's the only thing I think exists, right?
No, but that's the thing.
I can't remember that there's all this fodder out there that turned into a stone statue trying to learn Sage Mode because I didn't see it.
It's on the mountain.
They talk about it, but maybe it was just
you
it
see
could
all
have been
these
coincidence.
You see all these statues. That's what Paul says. You see all these.
Sorry, erosion.
No, erosion.
Yeah.
No.
Moving on. So.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
The whole, the spy network, finding the Akatsuki and stuff like that. I'm just wondering, why did the Akatsuki even form? Was it maybe because he bails on these little kids after he created weapons of mass destruction?
Did they join because, Jiraiya left us. Let's join. Let's start this terrorist cult.
I think it's borderline irresponsible to teach kids, like, insane power to say, hey, make a peaceful world. But then not give them any guidelines like, hey, don't just go massacring people. Don't create wars. You know what I mean?
But didn't Toby kind of egg Nagato on
sure,
it? Like,
but
that was his
think
whole
about
shtick?
it. Madara had a very similar thing. Madara and Hashirama, they wanted a peaceful world. Hashirama does it in a nice, cool way. And Madara does it in a psychotic way. Because they didn't have guidance. They
didn't have a
were
Jiraiya.
left to their own.
He didn't have a Jiraiya.
Jiraiya would have bailed in the middle.
No, Mike. Okay,
he would have had them understand that they need a peaceful world, and then he'd be like, you know what, deuces, I'm gonna go back to Konoha or wherever the hell else.
Well, I thought he had to go. Like, I thought he needed to. Like, the war is over. I need to split.
It's possible. So here's my question: why didn't he bring them with him?
Can you bring outside? I don't think you can bring outside in a warring
You're telling
state.
me a legendary Sanin couldn't have walked in and said, hey, I found these 3 orphans. I trained them. They're my students.
Hey, this one's got the Rinnegan, by the way.
That's dope.
That's
even better for Konoha.
What's that going to look like to the Hidden Mist or the Hidden Rain that, you just snagged you stole 3 of our citizens. Our ninjas, by the way.
Orphans, bud.
Right, but still, that's an act of war. That's an act of actual war. Do you think
they're worried about the freaking rain when they got their Rinnegan on deck?
They just finished a war.
And they won.
Right, but why would Jiraiya now let's take some more prisoners?
I don't see... First of all, I wouldn't frame it as a prisoner. I'd just be like,
these
are
the enemy
refugees.
The enemy would.
I don't know. That's a weird point.
That's totally a valid point. He read, I don't know. So what you're telling me right now is him abandoning them is a direct and the cause of the Akatsuki becoming a terrorist group. Not the battle of Hanzo, the death of his friend that he was forced to inflict upon.
I think so, because if he just doesn't bail on them randomly when he basically makes them feel like he's their father figure and teacher and all this stuff, he bails, and then they get in this conflict with Hanzo, who he barely got out alive in a conflict with. Of course his students are going to die, right? So, I don't know. I would have preferred he had done something to kind of bring them towards Konoha or whatever, right? And give them kind of more of a protection blanket. Because he didn't leave them in like a nice area. He left them in the Rain Village where there's all these he knows Hanzo's still there.
But how does that make him overrated as a character? I think as a sensei, he literally raised our main character. It makes him
overrated.
It makes well, that's what I'm saying. So he raised.
Let me ask you this: if I were to train the best fighter in the world, and then I just kind of bail, and then he goes on and just does terroristic acts, so does that make me an amazing teacher? Because I obviously didn't instill enough in him.
Well, that's the thing. Jiraiya dies on Naruto.
Yeah, Naruto gets pissed about it.
That's a lot of pain. That's the same kind of shit that Nagato went through.
I'm just saying.
Why didn't Naruto freak out? Why didn't Naruto become?
Did freak out.
Why didn't he become a force for evil? The world is corrupt, and I need to fix it.
Because he had better friends, Ricky. It's like this guy doesn't know about the power of friendship.
Oh my gosh, he had Kona till the day he died.
Yeah, well, Conan was clearly just there because he's just Shonen woman.
She's a Shonen woman,
just chilling in the background. Nagato, do you think we should really be terrorists? Shut up.
Shut up. I'm literally a god.
I'm kind of renegating right now.
BRB renegating as we speak.
And then the Itachi Kisame thing, I don't know if they really just bailed because he was there. They could have just said that, and I don't know. That seems like a weak point. So it seemed like throughout the series they were both pretty lazy. They're like, why not? Let's just bail.
Oh my gosh.
I'm just saying, they seemed lazy.
They seem
so now that we did all that, I think it's time to say what we really think about
I
them.
didn't get to rip apart your argument
anyway,
at all.
So,
oh my god. Oh my god.
I genuinely like Jiraiya. Obviously, Kishimoto made a lot of choices.
That's really what it was, man.
To like do these kinds of things where he creates terrorists, he creates, he doesn't accept Okage and then a student dies. Like, he made all these emotional choices to like get you kind of behind the whole story. Like, the fact that Minato dies is part of the reason that Jiraiya comes back and tries to be the father figure to Naruto. Maybe too late, who knows? Right? I don't know. I liked a lot of the things that Kishimoto tried to do with him, and I think he did a really good job.
What he had to be in the moment was perfect, I think. But as I was looking at building a case for underrated, I realized that, his reputation definitely preceded him, and a lot of people feared him. Like, if you told me an Itachi versus Jiraiya battle, you'd think, and that's the thing I didn't even mention, is that he has access, because of his summons, to sound-based genjutsu, one of the only genjutsu that can get to Sharingan and Susanoo users.
Right.
So he has a counter for Itachi, yet I bet you'd be hard-pressed to find someone to say that Jiraiya would win. I don't know. So, but despite that, he was still like, well, yeah, we can't beat him. Kisame was like, yeah, he was guarded by one of the Legendary Sainin, something that makes the 7 ninja swordsmen of the Mist quake, and the Uchiha clan quake. We can't beat him. And Itachi's like, yeah, of course you can.
Yeah, a lot of that is so weird to me because, first of all, the 7 ninja swordsmen, they kind of talk him up as being massively strong and all this stuff. Right. And throughout the series, you just see him getting absolutely clapped every time you see him. And then, the same thing with the Uchiha clan, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they're obviously insanely powerful and all this stuff, but until way later do you really realize how strong they were. Right. So, like, at the time, it's kind of like, okay.
So what he reminded me was, like, he definitely had feats, but they were feats and then talked about. He was literally a legend. And it's kind of reminded me a little bit of Hiruzen, where he's not necessarily past his prime, but he is past the days that he made the name for himself.
Yeah, I think that's kind of sad that we didn't get to see more of like young prime Jiraiya.
Right.
We basically, and I really did try to find a single fight that he won or like remember one. I don't remember one.
Right.
Like, I think they gave us the absolute worst time period for Jiraiya.
Yeah.
But he still did some of his most meaningful work with Naruto.
That was the point.
And then, obviously master in sealing jutsu, and he had that whole frog thing on his stomach that Minato gave him and taught him how to use.
Right.
So, I mean, as a character, he's super awesome.
It is a little sad.
It was really sad when he died.
Oh, God.
I actually felt it.
And that was the other thing, too, is that, he decided to go cryptic with that message, but I think he was afraid.
Okay, but why? That was so insane. I think
he was afraid of. I actually don't. You're right.
Because Paul will just anti-materialize.
Right.
Like, it just doesn't make any sense to me.
It was just probably the quickest thing he could write down to get everything.
Why didn't he say, "Hey, Pa, here's the secret."
Hey, Pa.
You know what I mean?
It's funny because I watched that fight today, and Payne even noticed that he figured it out. So it's not like they were to look at the frog and be like, "What does it mean?"
Right.
Like, they know that he knows. So, and this is obviously something. So. Just kill Pa.
I mean, that is one of the situations where I'm like, I don't understand the choice Kishimoto.
I know. Yeah.
You kill him off, but also make him do this like weird cryptic crap, and then there's no real point to it. Just say, "Hey, Pa, here's exactly what I want you to tell Naruto."
Yeah. And that is sad. Looking back on him in the whole series, of course he seems like he's not where he isn't someone worth mentioning in the world and the realm, because everyone's essentially a god now.
Yeah, I mean, the power scaling just is way out.
That's what it was. He did not anticipate that it was just, oh, there it is. Okay, right. We're up. But yeah, I dig him. I think he's still a little bit underrated, but what he is like, he makes up for his out in the real, like, people who like the series. He's talked about very highly. So I think if you want my honest opinion, he is right where he should be perception-wise to everybody. I think he gets a good rep. He's considered strong amongst the general population of the ninja that have a name like the Sanin or this. So he's considered up there. But
yeah, I think as a character, he's thought of really like you're saying very well. I think obviously if you think of it just from what you see in the show, I actually do genuinely believe he was overrated because you never see the Sanin feats. Right. You see the three-way deadlock, but they did a great job of poisoning him, so he has no way to actually show his stuff.
That was pretty, yeah.
So, there's some points throughout the show you're like, why the heck are you doing this to my man's Jiraiya? You know what I mean?
Man, he's got so many people talking about him, and then all of a sudden you see him in battle, you're like,
this is it?
This is him? Your hair's pretty cool. Like,
yeah, what is it, Spiky Jizo or something?
Spiky Jizo. Is it the shield?
Yeah, when he wraps himself in a burrito of hair.
You can't touch me. I am a hairito.
Right.
So what? I think that just about does it for this episode. Normally this is kind of the place where we would tell you what's coming on in the next one, a little sneak peek. But you know what? We're gonna surprise you next time.
Yeah, no more. Well, maybe not no more, but this one we're not giving you the future sight fireside or whatever we were calling it.
Foreshadow fireside.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Yes, but just stick around for the next one, and we got a whole list of topics to get through. Some really interesting stuff. So thank you for listening. Thank you for sitting around for the whole thing. Give us those 5 stars. That really helps us out as we.
If you thought it was 5 stars, if you thought it was 6 stars, hack the program and put a 6-star.
We keep telling you, you go get your computer science on. You go hack that iTunes website. Apple, don't sue us, and give us 6 stars. It'll really help us out. But
but guys, thank you so much for listening. Like we said, the ratings really help podcasters grow, and I hope you guys are having as much fun as we are. These are super fun. Right. So, we're just having an absolute blast, and we can't thank you enough for continuing the journey with us. Yeah, well, so thanks, y'all, for coming to class, and this has been Weejology. Until the next one. Pieces. Pieces? Deuces, I said.